PowerPoint accessibility training. PowerPoint presentations provide the ability to present content in a visual way. Make your presentations appeal to visual users, but also follow these requirements to help make presentations accessible. Add the title in the document's properties. Use proper headings. Add alternate text to graphics conveying information. Add table headers to tables. Use descriptive links. Use color in an accessible way. And always check for accessibility. The design of a presentation is usually the first thing decided, but it also needs to meet accessibility standards. In the design ribbon, the different themes and variant options provided are mostly inaccessible. These options are usually lacking high color contrast, making it hard for some colorblind users to see all the content. It's recommended not to use these template designs. A new feature in PowerPoint is Design Ideas. It's a right side panel that appears with different design options after you insert an image. Most of the design ideas can become accessible, but the designs only work on individual slides. This will cause inconsistencies throughout the presentation. Make sure the slide is accessible if this option is used. The best accessible design will be to use a TEA approved template. These templates are made with accessibility in mind and have custom slides for certain content. They will also integrate the correct agency colors and fonts. Use proper slide layouts to create headings and content on slides. Slide layouts are accessible pre-formatted slide designs that presents headings and content in a certain way on slides. They are the options that appear for a new slide or when changing the current layout of a slide. Do not use the title only or blank from the layout options because they lack preset layouts to enter content. Using slide layouts ensures headings and content are tagged in the correct reading order. Unlike Word, there are no styles in PowerPoint to create headings. Instead, use the designated areas on the slides. These areas that say click to add title are where the proper headings need to be placed. The title slide layout needs to be the first slide on a presentation and remain as the only title slide. Even on custom templates, a title slide is needed. Enter the title in the designated area or placeholder that says click to add title. This designated placeholder on this particular title slide layout creates the heading 1 for screen readers. Also place the same title in the properties of the presentation. This will help screen readers know the title of the presentation without having to open the file. To do this, click on File, select Info from the orange column menu, and enter the title in the title field located on the right side of the screen under Properties. If the title field already has a title, verify it's the correct title and change it if needed. Placeholders play an important part in the accessibility of PowerPoint. They are the dotted line containers that look like text boxes. There are different types of placeholders. Title placeholders, the ones that say click to add title and use as headings. In this example, the placeholder in the title slide layout creates the heading 1, and the title placeholders on all other slide layouts create heading 2s. There's also content placeholders that contain text, tables, pictures as content for the slide. Although placeholders look and act like text boxes, don't substitute them for text boxes. Placeholders are placed on the slides in the correct reading order and create the document structure for screen readers to use. In the layout view, text content from the placeholders are creating the outline or structure for the screen readers. In the View ribbon, click on Outline View. This outline will show only the text content used on placeholders and not text boxes. This is the main reason you should not use text boxes on slides. Text boxes don't show up in the outline view, which means text boxes don't provide the correct structure and the correct reading order on slides. Use the Slide Master to create accessible new layouts. The Slide Master is where you go to create new slide layouts, add additional placeholders to existing layouts, or design slide layouts to make the slides consistent on the presentation. The Slide Master is where you get to the presentation's template slides known as master slides. The master slides control the look and feel of the presentation and how slide layouts are arranged. To access the Slide Master, go to the View ribbon and select Slide Master. The view of the presentation changes. The top ribbon is switched to the Slide Master ribbon. This is where you'll find the tools to add and edit slide layouts. The Close Master View button on the far right edge of the toolbar is to close this view and return to the presentation. In the Slide Master view, the left column panel will have the master slide as the first slide and the slide layouts below the master slide. To add a new slide layout with more placeholders, click on Insert Layout from the ribbon. A new layout is created and inserted with the rest of the layouts on the left column panel. Notice the layout already has the title placeholder inserted. Now click on Insert Placeholder on the ribbon and select the type of content the placeholder will contain. The content placeholder will accept all types of content and is the most commonly used. The cursor becomes a crosshair cursor and lets you click and drag on an area on the slide to create the placeholder. The ribbon changes to the Format ribbon. This is the chance to change the shape of the placeholder or add some color to it. You can always come back later and format it. Go back to the Slide Master ribbon by clicking the Slide Master tab located next to File on the menu bar. And click Insert Placeholder again to insert another placeholder on the slide. Insert as many content placeholders your new slide will need. Once the placeholders have been inserted, right-click on the new layout in the left column panel and select Layout from the menu. The Rename Layout window appears. Enter a name for the slide that will be something easy to remember when you need to use it to insert a new slide. Click Rename and the window closes. Now close the master view to go back to the presentation. Click on Layout on the Home ribbon. The new slide is now available to pick. I recommend always creating a slide with many placeholders. This will allow you to have a slide ready if you need to present many different types of content on a slide. Placeholders you don't use can be deleted. Alternative text or alt text is a text equivalent description for graphics conveying information. Adding alt text to your Office document, right-click on the image, select Edit Alt Text from the menu, and the alt text panel will appear on the right. In the box, enter your alt text. Use alt text that conveys the intended purpose of the image based on the context of your document. For decorative images, select your image and check the Mark as Decorative option on the alt text panel. Alt text should be concise, but enough to describe the graphic. Avoid using phrases such as picture of, image of, or words like logo and chart in the alt text. This is redundant for screen readers. A new feature in Office 365 is the automatic alt text. Images and icons inserted onto the document will have automatic alt text created for them. Images that are copied with no alt text, shapes, charts, and smart art will not get automatic alt text. When you insert an image onto the document, the automatic alt text will appear at the bottom of the image. Also, the alt text panel will have the phrase description automatically generated as part of the alt text. And the image will show up on the accessibility checker under Intelligent Services. This is to remind you that the image needs a review of the alt text. Most times, the automatic alt text will not be appropriate alt text for the image. You will need to review the alt text all the time this feature is turned on. Another alt text feature in Office 365 is the Generate a Description for Me button found on the alt text panel. This is provided for images that don't have alt text. It's the same feature as the automatic alt text, where the description automatically generated phrase is added as part of the alt text. And the image will also show up in Intelligent Services of the Accessibility Checker. The automatic alt text Microsoft generates for images is not suggested because it's not accurate and will need your review all the time it's used. When working with charts, alt text might not be the best option. Instead, use a text summary on the document. Add a text summary of all the information and data the chart is providing onto the document, and mark the chart as decorative. This will help the screen reader users access the information the chart is providing and also help sighted users that might need assistance with the data. Any elements on your document that contains text like placeholders or text boxes and also has background color or borders will need to be marked as decorative. Overall, this will help with accessibility on converted PDF versions. Not marking your placeholders with background colors or borders as decorative will cause issues when documents are converted to PDF. The document will have extra figure tags that are not needed and without alt text, which will cause errors in the accessibility checker. You will also require to do extra steps in Adobe to make your document accessible. Marking placeholders as decorative will convert your document to a better tagged and readable document, which will help with accessibility. Remember, only mark placeholders, shapes, or text boxes that contain content and have a background color or border will need to be marked decorative. Use tables for data, not layout, and use proper table headers. There are two ways to insert a table in a placeholder. The first is to select the placeholder the table needs to be in, click on Insert, and then select Table from the ribbon. Use the drop-down grid option to select the size of the table. If the dimension of the table is not available, select Insert Table option at the bottom of the drop-down. An Insert Table window appears to insert the column and rows the table needs. Click OK and the placeholder becomes the table. The other way to insert a table is by clicking on the table icon in an empty placeholder. The Insert Table appears. Insert the column and row the table needs. Click OK and the table is inserted. Remember, use table for data, not layout. Tables are read left to right, top to bottom by screen readers. And use proper table headers. Table headers will be inserted automatically to inserted tables. By default, the row header or the first row of the table will be selected as the table header. To see or change the table header, click on any cell of the table. Two new tabs appear and select Design. If a table needs both header row and the first column as the table header, select the first column checkbox. The first row and the row header are now applied to that table. Links need to be informative enough to let users know what they do or where they go. Overall, links should be meaningful when read out of context. Screen readers have the ability to read all links found on the document, so every link should be descriptive enough to inform the user what it does or where it goes. Links that say click here, here, more are not informative and don't help users know where they go. Most times, phrases rather than single words are better options for descriptive links, and sometimes rewriting a sentence might be necessary. Only links should be underlined, and embed the link address in the descriptive text of the link. This is better for electronic formats instead of a long URL web address. Another useful feature in Microsoft Office is the screen tip. The screen tip is optional to use on links, but can be helpful to users when linking to special worded links. The screen tip works as a label when a user hovers over the link. This label or screen tip should provide additional information about the link if needed. In this example, we're going to add a screen tip to the link TAC section 74.26. We start by editing the link so we can get the hyperlink window open. On the top right, the screen tip button will appear. When you click on that, another window appears. This is where you add your text for the screen tip. For this example, we're going to write out what TAC means and also add the word section for what that symbol on the link means. The screen tip text is now Texas Administrative Code section 74.26. We'll click OK. That closes the window, and then we can hit OK on the main hyperlink window. Meet accessible color standards. Many times color is overlooked as an accessibility standards. You should have enough contrast between text and background colors. Use the Color Contrast Analyzer tool to check if your document has high contrast text so colorblind users can see all the content. Also, don't use color as the only way to convey information. Screen readers can't interpret color. Add additional information to support what the color is conveying. Use the accessibility checker when working on your document. The checker is a great built-in tool that helps you find the common accessibility errors. At any time while working on your document, you can use the checker. You don't need to wait until all your content has been placed on the document to use it. It's suggested to do an accessibility check every 2 to 3 pages of content you create. This is to help you fix any issues that might cause other accessibility issues. Or you can leave the accessibility checker panel open while you work on your document. It registers accessibility errors in real time. The checker will only find the accessibility issues, not fix them for you, but it does provide explanations on issues and suggestions on how to fix them. If no issues are found, it does not mean your document is 100% accessible. The checker is limited on some of the WCAG checkpoints it can inspect, like distinguishing color. It's also suggested to use a checklist as a double check on accessibility. The Office 365 checker will be the same to use across the 3 main Office applications: Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. To use it, go to the Review ribbon, click on Check Accessibility. This will open the Accessibility Checker panel on the right side of the screen. Many issues are going to be the same across the 3 applications, but some issues are specific to the application. The Accessibility Checker panel will have all the accessibility issues listed in categories. Errors are critical and cause problems for most users. Warnings are issues that could cause problems for some users. And tips are suggestions to improve the user's experience. It's best to fix all issues in all categories. Categories will list the issues found on the document, and if you click on the expand arrow, it will show the actual element that has the issue. When you click on the element, it will take you to the page and select the element on the document so you can see it and fix it. To fix accessibility issues, use the checker. It explains why to fix issues and steps on how to fix them. Each element on the checker has a drop-down that provides recommended actions on fixing them. There's also a new category in the checker called Intelligent Services. This category appears on the checker when graphics are using automatic alt text Microsoft provided. You can use the recommended actions from the drop-down for these issues too. Select Verify Description to have the alt text panel open, and remove the phrase Description Automatically Generated. This will also remove the element from the Intelligent Services category on the checker. With the alt text panel open, verify the alt text. Most times the automatic alt text Microsoft provided is not accurate. You can make the change at this time. Transitions and animations most times are not accessible features. Try to avoid these features on your presentations. Most times these features can read slide content out of order, cause screen readers to reread slides, be distracting to the user, may not give users enough time to read the slide content, animation and transition capabilities are lost when converted to PDFs, animated objects might be positioned incorrectly on PDF or printed versions. In this example, there's a title slide transition converting to a slide layout. However, on printed or PDF versions, the content of this animation might be overlaid and not seen. Embedded media on your presentation also needs to meet accessibility requirements. Videos will need to be closed captioned or have audio descriptions. Audio clips will need text transcripts. Keep in mind that media capabilities are lost when converted to PDFs, and media object images on the slides will need to have alt text or marked as decorative. To insert media on your presentation, click on Insert, and then select Video or Audio from the ribbon. Here are a few techniques that will help with accessibility on PowerPoint. Add proper text descriptions for complex images. When working with complex images that convey a lot of information, the best accessible method is to describe the information in a text summary. Place the image and the text in separate placeholders. Mark the image decorative in the alt text panel, and overlay the placeholders over each other. If the text is over the image, arrange the image to be brought to the front and cover the text. You now have a complex image with a text summary that only screen readers will find. This method will also work on converted PDFs. Use the same concept with charts. Add the text summary in a separate placeholder. Mark the chart decorative in the alt text panel. Overlay the placeholders over each other and rearrange the order of the placeholder if needed. And you can even enlarge the chart if you want. Combine multiple images into one image. Sometimes adding shapes to images or a combination of different objects put together can help you create the visual you need. However, screen readers encounter all the images that make up that one object. If you group all the images as one, each image will still need alt text or be marked decorative. A better option would be to use a snipping tool to make one true image. This method will provide the same visual on the slide and assist screen readers understanding one image instead of multiple images. Paste the image from the snipping tool in the placeholder and add the alt text or mark it decorative if the information the image is conveying is already on the slide. Place background images in the slide master. All logos, background colors, and decorative images used throughout the presentation should be placed in the slide master to help keep the slides consistent. Mark the images decorative in the All Text panel, and now slides are consistent without having to worry about background images. Use crop sections of images. Instead of using images with more information than needed, crop the image to only the section you need from it. If the image is conveying a lot of information, provide a text summary in a separate placeholder. Then arrange the text summary behind the image. You now provide the correct information from the image, which can help users with cognitive disabilities to better understand the content. Mark placeholders with background color or borders as decorative. All placeholders that have a background color or a border will need to be marked decorative in the All Text panel. The content in these placeholders will still be available for screen readers. This will also help eliminate any need to add alt text to these placeholders when converted to PDFs. Change placeholder shapes instead of using shape objects. Sometimes you might need to place text over a shaped background, or you may want to use a rounded text box on slides. Don't use text boxes or slide objects. Instead, format the placeholders as shapes to provide the visual shape you want while keeping the structure for screen readers to read the content. On your slide, select the placeholder. The cursor changes, then click Format on the menu bar to start formatting the placeholder. If you want a background color, click on Fill Shape in the ribbon and select the color. If you want a border, click on Shape Outline in the ribbon. You can pick the border color, change the weight or thickness of the border, and even change it from a solid border to a dash border. Don't use the formats in the shape style options. These rounded shapes will not work. Instead, click on Edit Shape in the ribbon, then change shape from the drop-down options and select the rounded box or other shape you want the placeholder to be. The placeholder is now formatted on the slide. Mark it decorative in the All Text panel. This process can be done to the title or content placeholders, and also placeholders in the slide master. Add section headings with the correct slide layouts. If you want to add section heading slides, like this example, use the slide layout with placeholders instead of using a blank slide. A good slide layout to use is the common title and content layout. Add your title and image in the correct placeholders. Mark the image decorative. Format the title placeholder and also mark it decorative. Expand the image as needed and align the title placeholder on the slide. Create timelines correctly. A typical timeline on a slide can look like this example. Start off by selecting a layout with multiple placeholders. A new layout created in the slide master will most likely need to be done beforehand. Once the correct layout is selected, enter the content in the correct order the placeholders are in. Now let's format the placeholders. Select the placeholder, open the Format ribbon, add background color, borders, and shapes to each placeholder. Once the placeholders are formatted on the slide, rearrange the placeholders as needed on the slide. You can verify the reading order of the content by tabbing through the placeholders. This is to verify the content is in correct order. Thank you for watching this presentation.